So, you may have noticed that I like politics and group hug and Magic the Gathering. I mean, my whole channel's name is Hugmonger for the specific reason that I really like hugs and I really like mongers. But in particular, there's a big thing that I've noticed online being talked about, at least a little bit. Maybe it's actually not that big. Maybe it's been like one post on Reddit that I interacted with, and I was like, hey, I feel good about having interacted with a single post on Reddit. But that is the state of politics in Commander. You see, Commander, because it's a 4-player game, gives you access to a whole new style of strategy, not really available in one-on-one Magic the Gathering, and I mean, honestly, most Magic the Gathering is one-on-one, and that is the political playstyle. Instead of building a good deck, I can just work on hoping my opponents built a good deck, and that they're gonna ignore me because mine is bad. Political players are the sorts of players who are going to try to take advantage of other people's sensibilities, what's on the board, and try and figure out, okay, how can I weasel the most advantage for me out of this situation? So, for instance, I was recently playing my new Mathis deck, which I am going to make a video on one day as soon as I figure out what the fuck it's supposed to do. But, and we're trying to work our way through, figuring out there's this one big threat on the table and we're all working together. I'm like, hey, I have an advocate. Advocates are really cool cards. I should talk about them one day. I swear I'm going to. But they allow you to return cards from your opponent's graveyard to their hand. So, you return Vraska's Fall so that everybody keeps sacrificing stuff as long as that Vraska Fall player keeps cooperating with you. Or I was playing against a Gates deck at one point. Again, I had an advocate, and every turn, the Gates player would try to bring out Maze's End, and I'd look at the Prismatic Bridge, whatever the Prismatic Bridge, the actual name of that thing is, Freya. I'd look at the Freya player, and I'd be like, hey, it's an awful nice Beast Within you got there, and he'd be like, yeah, it is. I'm gonna play Beast Within, aren't I? Yeah, you are. Because we didn't want to let the Gates player just run away with the entire game. That would be pretty ridiculous. So we coordinated with one another in order to keep the Maze's End off the field. However, what I didn't do is when people targeted my stuff, or when I was playing my Mathis deck, when I got out the Lord of Extinction from somebody else's deck, I didn't go, why would you target me? No, because that is silly. You should target me. I've got a Lord of Extinction on the field. It's a 40-40 right now because I've been milling everybody every turn. Yes, this is a group hug deck. But I've been milling everybody every single turn for 5 or 6 cards. My Lord of Extinction from that guy's deck is pretty big. You should absolutely target me. But there is an absolute plague of players claiming to be political players who actually are just whining at everyone. Mind you, there's some precedent in this in actual politics. We have seen, in recent years perhaps, some political people who, high-profile political figures who mostly did the bad thing, and then when people pointed out, hey, you're doing the bad thing, and tried to punish them for it, they were like, me? No one in particular. But there's a huge difference between whining and politics. Politics is when the player next to you is trying to decide where the threat assessment lies, and you look at a person across from you and go, hey, how many cards did you draw last turn? Just curious, buddy. That's an awful nice lightning bolt you got, guy next to me. That guy just drew 15 cards. Maybe. Whatever. No, lightning bolt me. That's fine. No, look, it is fine to lightning bolt me. It's always objectively the right choice. I am giving everybody stuff. That's my goal. So, please, bolt me. The big problem when it comes to politics is that people like to think that they're all clever, smart, and good at maneuvering. We all think we're gonna outsmart everybody around us, when what really, I mean, look, I'm the group hug player. I'm not that clever. I will sit there for like 2 minutes going, okay, okay, no, just give me a second. Just give me a second, okay? It's really hard to figure out proper threat assessment and so on, and politics comes in when you're trying to either corrupt somebody else's threat assessment or to redirect people when there's even threat across the board. However, when you know you're the bad guy here, like, you know, your turn 1 Altar of the Brood, turn 2 Mesmeric Orb in a reanimation deck, perhaps you can have some humility and understand when other people are like, okay, look, you are obviously the threat, and you should just go, oh, fucking do something about it, buddy. That's politics. You know, when, you know, you've got your Magus of the Vineyard, your Eldmaria's Vineyard, Belby all out on turn 3, people go, no, you are genuinely the problem at the field. Believe it or not, you're the problem at the field at that point. And you kind of just have to deal with other people thinking that. Politics in the game is going to come in where you're like, well, yes, I am the problem, and you could try and take me down, or just saying, I got a sign and blow right here with your name on it, you know. 2 cards, just a little something. Or Jailbreak. Jailbreak's a great card for this. Jailbreak allows you to return a creature from an opponent's graveyard to their battlefield, and they'll do the same for you and be like, hey, look, I know I'm a massive problem right now, but bet you'd like that Sepulchre Primordial. I don't know many cards in this game, apparently. I've been playing for 30 years and don't know any cards. I bet you'd like your creature back. How about you, there's a dude right there in my graveyard. I'd really like him back. You know, and look, I know I've spent about 7 minutes talking about politics in games, so you might think that it's hard for me to talk about brevity, but brevity is important for the political player. I swear I'm good at words. Brevity is important for the political player because you don't want to exhaust all of your opponents. You don't want to spend 3 minutes whining because one person attacked you with a freaking Llanowar elf. Or complain about somebody playing a board wipe when you started the game going, I don't know why anybody at the store doesn't play Interaction. But I don't know. You know what? I think I am rambling too much at this point. Politics in EDH is a super important part of the game, but you do also have to learn what politics means and sort of how to play into it, and spend less time whining. If you are talking for more than like a sentence or two, trying to make a deal in EDH, perhaps it's not worth making that deal. But that's just my thoughts. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. If you are interested in more content from somebody who really enjoys Politics Group Hug and EDH, subscribe. If not, don't.